Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Rolene Marks, your host, and as we do every day, let's talk about the top stories making headlines in the news in Israel. And yesterday we spoke quite a bit about how things were heating up on both our borders in the north and the south over the last weekend, and the north is still heating up more and more and more. So yesterday we spoke about drones that either crashed or were shot down over Lebanon, and we heard from Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hizbollah, which is designated as a terrorist organization by several countries, that there were explosives on board drones. He also went so far as to warn the IDF to keep their gaze on the northern border because there could be reprisals at any time. Well, according to Times of Israel expert on the Middle East, Avi Zakharov, he has said that they are lying, or Hezbollah is lying, about the fact that these drones that either crashed or were shot down are Israelis. Or are Israeli drones. He said, in fact, they are not Israeli drones. Anyone who is familiar will know that first of all, they are not. We know for a fact that they're not Israeli, but they are not performing in a way that an Israeli drone would. Israeli drones are not sent to assassinate people, but merely to send a message. Now, the United Nations has called for restraint from both Lebanon, Hezbollah, and Israel, and Prime Minister Netanyahu earlier today warned both Lebanon and Hezbollah to stay calm and not raise any more tension. So this comes after a weekend where two Hezbollah operatives were used by the Iranians to fire killer drones into Israel from Syria. So the tension on our northern border is escalating at the moment, and the IDF are preparing for any kind of eventuality. But if you want your daily update of news and what's happening, the Israel Brief promises to keep you updated. Staying with Iran, and Iranian Premier Rouhani has expressed that absolutely no way will he meet Donald Trump. The American president has expressed a willingness or preparedness to meet with the Iranian leader, and Rouhani said under no circumstances will he meet with Donald Trump unless sanctions were lifted. Well, the situation in Lebanon is heating up, but it's not the only place. Tensions have been heating up in at least 5 areas surrounding Israel. We're talking about Gaza, Lebanon, the West Bank, Syria, and Iraq. And this is largely due to Iran who are trying to push their presence closer and closer to the state of Israel. They've used Lebanon, they've used Syria as staging grounds for their direct attacks, and they have used their proxies, Hezbollah in the north and Gaza in the south, with Hamas as the ruling party, Islamic Jihad as well, to stage attacks on Israeli civilians. They've also fired from within Iraq, and Israel may or may not have attacked Iranian positions in Iraq as well. Well, this of course means that Prime Minister Netanyahu has to meet with his Security Council, and in a very unusual step he invited Benny Gantz, who is the leader of the Blue and White Party, or Kachol Velavan as we call it in Hebrew, to join him in these security meetings. So what's so unusual about this, I hear you saying? Because Benny Gantz was the former IDF chief. Could it be about that? Well, actually, it's about the fact that Benny Gantz does head the largest opposition party to the Netanyahu's Likud. This does not mean that he is the official leader of the opposition. That role was fulfilled by Sheli Yachimovich of the Labour Party and the Labour Confederation, but she has since retired from politics. But this is Prime Minister Netanyahu's way of including his present opposition as tensions arise. Well, these are the top stories making headlines today, and if you want to read other kinds of stories, all you have to do is visit our website at www.layoftheland.online. On today's edition, you can read an open letter to the University of Cape Town by Stephen Schulman, asking them how on earth could they possibly have let a notorious anti-Semite Dr. Steven Salaita, somebody who has been stripped of his tenure at various US-based universities, of allowing him to come to South Africa and propagate his own kind of hate speech. You can read about that there, or you can read about it on Facebook, where we post a lot of different kinds of content. And while you're there, like us and follow us. Or if you prefer to watch your news, you can subscribe to the Israel Brief via our YouTube channel. It's a great way of getting Israel's story, Israel's perspective out there, and you'll be notified every time we post a brief. I'm Rolene Marks with today's edition of the Israel Brief, and we'll chat again tomorrow.